cold sesame noodles. Chinese dish, very simple, and you can adapt it any way you like, and we'll talk about how you might want to change it for if you're cooking for yourself. When I cook for myself, I make things much spicier.
Spicier.
So my family, they won't eat that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when I cook for myself, I cook crazy stuff. Crazy, very hot peppers and, you know, fish brains and squid ink and all kinds of fun stuff. But I have to take it easy on my friends and my family.
So, when and how did you start cooking?
Well, I left home when I was very young and moved away to go to school. But before I left, my parents had a summer camp for children. And at the summer camp, I didn't want to be a camper. I wanted to work. So I became a swimming instructor.
Really?
And I worked in the kitchen because I liked the lady in the kitchen. And I liked her better than most of the people around. All I'm doing is cutting off some of the fat, so we,
Yeah,
because I don't want to.
we can put that here.
Right. So I would hang out in the kitchen and just spend time there. And what it did for me was, because it was cooking for a summer camp, there were 300 people there.
Yeah.
So the first day she said to me, I want you to make French toast for 300 people.
Oh my gosh.
And I was about 10 years old. No? So what was nice about her was that she really didn't tell me how to do anything.
Oh, really?
She just let me make my own mistakes. And it was lovely.
When things seems up in the air and everything is so unfair, and you stumble and fall, just pick yourself up and sing. If one day you lose your way, just remember one thing, my friend.
So, what are some similarities between classical music and cooking?
Nothing.
Nothing.
The important connection is that there's no musician who doesn't like to eat.
Right, that's correct.
And what is fun for me is that I've been able to travel the world for about years, which is a long time. And when you travel so much and you like to eat, people find out that you like to eat, they see that you like to eat, and they want to take you to places that are interesting. So I've just split this into four, take off the ends, make sure it's fairly clean, split it, keep it away from your fingers. Similarities, I think, what's interesting is there's music from all over the world, and there's food from all over the world, and it doesn't taste the same. Different styles of cooking, different kinds of ingredients. Again, every time it touches both hands. And see, I still have all my fingers.
Okay. And I also heard that you cooked for a famous artist,
Georgia O'Keeffe. Georgia O'Keeffe, yes. She was already past her 90th year.
Oh.
And I think she wasn't able to go out to eat, and the person who was taking care of her wasn't really in a position to, didn't want to have to keep bringing food home from the same place, so I was recommended as a chef. I was living in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Wow.
So.
What kind of food did you cook for her?
What was interesting is that everything had to be from scratch.
Oh.
If I made a pie, I had to make the crust from wheat berries. I couldn't start with flour, I had to make my own flour.
Oh my God.
So there was a grinder, and I would grind the wheat berries to make the powder, it was the flour.
Wow.
And then so it was very time consuming. Plus I did all the shopping, all the serving, all the cleaning.
Wow. Can you tell us about the feelings that you performed with Mijuan and Idong?
Well, I didn't know the piece when I was asked to do it, and when it was assigned to me. But my wife loves dancing. She is a volunteer with the New York City Ballet, And so she said, "Oh, you're doing Giselle? Oh, yeah." She knew everything about it. So I went up and looked up the music on. I'm gonna cook this with some garlic too, the pork. And it's really beautiful music, and it was really fun to be able to work with them.
When you're under a cloud, just with some music and sing. If one day you lose your way, just remember that I'm here to stay. Don't you give up, keep your chin up and be happy.
What do you think makes a true musician? I know it's a tough question.
Well, integrity. You have to have some understanding of where the composer is from, and you have to have a sense of what the composer was thinking when they wrote the piece of music. And then you have to be able to have the technical facility to play the notes in the way that the composer has written, but you have to have also an imagination and a sense of fantasy and color and an idea of what you think needs to be expressed. And you also need to be willing to move yourself. By move, I mean to feel the emotion yourself. If you don't feel the emotion yourself, you have absolutely no chance of helping the audience to understand what's going on. So the involvement needs to be serious. If it's not the most important thing to you, if you can't give yourself completely to it, you're in the wrong profession.
I see. Then do you think those abilities are united or can be acquired?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think that if you have a good enough imagination, you do not have to experience everything yourself. I will probably never be pregnant or give birth to a child, but my imagination allows me to think about what that might have been. 1 minute and 22 seconds, so this should be done.
Day you lose your way, just remember that I'm here to stay. Don't you give up, keep your chin up and be happy.
Could you define Great Mountains Music Festival in one word?
In one word,
Yeah.
I would say that it's a sensuous place. It's 2 words, sensuous
That's
place. You can just use sensuous because you have the flavors of the food, you have the smell and the feeling of the air. You asked me earlier what's changed in the festival. It's become a little bit more professional seeming. We have a professional concert hall and a professional. The audience is farther away than it used to be. And in the old days, we had no choice but to come out of the concert hall where the audience was. And they would see us coming out and they waited to say hello, and it was very close. I like that. And I like having the audience close. Nobody can come back. The audience is not allowed to come backstage.
Right.
So it's a little bit more antiseptic and clean in not a good way. I like the dirty part. I like it when the audience is close and you get to see them. They get to talk to you, and that's a nice thing of the festival. Maybe we can recapture some of that.
That's good.
Thanks for asking me to cook.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
A pleasure. Let's eat something.
Yeah. So, yeah. This is the Cold Sesame Noodle. Yay!
Cold sesame noodle. If we had more sesame, it would have been more sesame flavor.